Hello, my 3D animation and visual effects friends. We're going to put some finishing touches on our 3D animation here in Unreal Engine. As we're playing around, you notice we can jump and we can walk, but we haven't been able to get the run cycle in here. So what we need to do is we need to add a little bit of programming to get us to be able to run. So what we're going to do, very similar to the jump cycle, we're actually going to add the run cycle and give it a command. But to do that, we're going to do something really cool. We're going to create what's called a 1D blend space. So I go to Animation, Blend Space 1D. I create an idle, walk, run sequence in that blend space. If I open up that blend space that we applied the Mixamo avatar skeleton to, up in the upper left-hand corner, what we're going to do is we're going to set our axis setting, which is our axis down at the bottom. It's kind of like a timeline, but more flexible with what we can set it as. We're going to set this as speed, and we're going to change the max to 300 with 4 increments, meaning every 75 foot per hour, I guess we could say, or change in velocity, it's going to allow us to change what our animations are. So on 0, we're going to put idle. On 75, we're going to put walk. And on 300, we're going to have run. And if we take this keyframe here, I mean, it's the best explanation I can give you. It's like a keyframe. We can drag this left to right and see how the idle to walk to run is blended together with our character. So we can drag that left and right and test it out. Once we find it looks good, I click save. I'm going to go back to my game. I'm going to select settings at the top and go to project settings. In my project settings, I'm going to go on the left-hand side, go all the way down to engine and select input. And what I'm looking for is my action mapping. And as you can see here, the jump action mapping is already set. We don't need to set all the VR stuff. We're not going to do that. So what we do need to do is hit the plus button and name it run. And we're going to change our input from none to left shift. You can pick any button you want to. I like the left shift because it's right next to the WASD and it's easy to access with one hand. Now what I can do is close out of there, and I'm going to go back to my character, not the animation blueprint, but just my character, and go to the event graph. And we're going to tell my character how to use that left shift button. I'm going to go and right click and type in input action, and you'll see my run input action. That's going to call that left shift button. I'm going to pull in my character movement, which is going to help us figure out where this action goes. Now when I hit the button, I want to be able to run. So when I click pressed, I want to set my max speed. So if I set max speed or walk speed, I can go in and set max walk speed. And I'm going to set that max walk speed at 300 if I want to. Or I'm going to make it a little bit faster. I'm going to set it at 600. But the blend speed will recognize what I'm looking for. I can duplicate that, or I can drag off and do the set walk and set my max walk speed now to walk speed when I don't have that selected or pushed. I could set that back down to 75. I'm going to tie this to my character movement, which is my character as it moves through that space. Clean it up a little bit. And if I want to label it like the 2 other sections, I can highlight all of this, right click, go down to create comment from selection, and call this my run. Drag this over to the left a little bit, make it a little bit neater, because we like neat things. Go up to compile and save, and then go over to our blend character animation blend blueprint. I'm going to go into my idle walk, and I'm going to swap that out for my blend space that I just created, and I'm going to set that to my results. Now, we already have the speed in there. We're already calling speed, so we're just going to tie that in. We don't need the float for this one because we already have the ramping of the speed happening in there. And if I want to test this out, I click compile first before I can really do anything. Just to make sure that I do it properly, I can change the speed over on the right-hand side. Oh, I forgot to hit compile. You'll see that the idle walk run shows the blend space. Now I can go back over to the speed on the right-hand side and test this out. If I type in 50 or 60, you can see my walk cycle. And if I change that to 300, you'll see my run cycle. If I go through and loop through those, it will give me a cool preview. I'm going to make sure I save that. Oh, I did forget to compile and save back in my character. Now if I go back into the game, I click save and then play, click on my character and hit the shift button, I'm off and running. I can have the character walk back towards me, hit the shift button and run, jump, my character jumps twice. If I keep pushing forward, it will keep moving forward. Shift, run, looks pretty good. Make sure you play around with this. See if you can bring your character in and make it look as epic as my character.